Hello, friends. You reached the channel of the Money Man, and I am coming to you speaking of life in general. This video may not be to your liking, but it deals with facts. Facts. Life in general is faced with facts. We are living in a society that's on a collision course with failure. We have some highly intelligent leaders in this country, but for some reason or another, it's hard for them to get it right. It seems to be hard for them to get it right. I have lived in this country, United States of America, a country that boasts of how powerful they are and how rich they are. Now, it would seem logical that if you're such a powerful and wealthy country, action speaks louder than words. If you are such a powerful and rich country, the action don't add up to the words. I live in this country. I've been living here over 70 some years. I did 23 years in the military, trying to prove myself as a good citizen. I went in the military during the Vietnam era, thinking that I was doing something to prove myself to this country. And I found out that all I was a black end to my white counterparts. That was a hurtful thing, but I was in, and I wasn't going to let them run me. I went through the same training that they did, and when I say they, I'm referring to whites. And they gave all of us of color a hard way to go. They had no respect for us, even though we wore the same uniform that they wore. They had no respect for us, nor did they have respect for the uniforms. But to make a long story short, because I don't want to go back, I don't like living the past. As far as I'm concerned, the past is water over the bridge. I lived through it. I was over in Nam twice. Because when I went in the military, I was young and dumb. I wanted to prove something, not only to myself, but to my family and to my counterparts. So I was gung ho. I was determined to make a name for myself, even if it killed me. I didn't realize how dangerous it was. All I know is I had something to prove. I proved it. I proved that I I was trained by the best. I don't take nothing from the military. They trained me to be a man, and I needed that training. I needed discipline at the time because I was young and dumb, as I said. I was standing on the corners, me and my cousins, doing nothing, just wasting our lives away. Didn't have no goals, and I got tired of it. I didn't see my life going nowhere. So I saw an ad that the Army was looking for young men, and they promised that if we would enlist, that they would give us the best of training and that we would get a chance to see the world. And that kind of resonated with me. My dreams as a young boy was to travel the world, to see the world. And it dawned on me, here's an opportunity for me that I can get some discipline in my life, get to travel, uh, get some education, get some training. You know, all the boxes was checked. So the recruiter, when I went into the recruitment office, the recruiter told me then, said, look, I was 17 years old. I wasn't old enough to really sign for myself, but I was so close to 18 that he overlooked it. I didn't even tell my mother I was going in. So the recruiter set me up for an appointment to go get my physical. And he told me, he promised me, he said, look, I can have you out of here in 2 weeks. Have you on a plane, going to your basic training. But now he didn't tell me nothing about Vietnam. I didn't even think about that. I was so dumb till Vietnam didn't even enter my mind. All I was looking at was what the recruiter promised me. Oh, he made it sound like, wow, when I get there, man, they're gonna be waiting at the bus for me with bands, and oh, he just, he made me feel like I was somebody special. So I enlisted. The next week, he scheduled me to go get my physical. I went and got my physical, passed the physical. He told me, he said, I can have you. He said, I can have you a ticket, a plane ticket. No, it was a bus ticket for my first one because I was going from Miami to uh, um, I was going to South Carolina, Fort Jackson, South Carolina, Fort Jackson Army Base in South Carolina, Columbia. So I went back home. I mean, things weren't going too good for me at home. So I went back home and told my cousins, I said, man, I'm getting ready to go in the Army. So they looked at me like I was crazy. I said, man, you crazy. You finna go in the Army. Don't you know they fighting a war over there, man? So that war, so a lot of guys getting killed and coming back home. I mean, that kind of shook me for a minute. And being around them kind of made me want to back out. So I was thinking about it. I said, man, maybe, what have I done? But the recruiter, he needed men's. He came and picked me up the next morning. He called me and let me know he was going to be about at 6 o'clock in the morning for me to be ready. The next morning for me to be ready. So, I'm kind of straddled the fence, and I should not. And I went on and got ready. He came and picked me up. I was living in Hollywood, Florida. He picked me up. He lived in Fort Lauderdale, but the recruitment office was downtown Hollywood. So he took me down and told me, gave me my ticket, and told me, said my bus would be leaving the next morning at 6 o'clock. For me to be down to the bus station and pick me up. So, I didn't have nothing going for me. I didn't even have transportation. I didn't even have bus money to get downtown Hollywood. I walked. That was a long walk, buddy. So I got up. Like about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was determined I was gonna go ahead and I done already signed the papers. It's time for me to go. So I walked on down to the bus station. uh, Caught the bus for Fort Jackson, South Carolina. That was like a 5 hour, it's 8 hour ride. So I went there. I got there about. As a matter of fact, it was another few guys on that bus that I didn't even. They were going to Fort Jackson. And when we got to the bus station in Fort South Carolina, they had sent a bus to pick us up about 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock at night. And bus picked us up about all on that came from different places, about 20 of us. And we went on to, took us on to uh, Fort Jackson. And we there, we laid back, thinking everything was, two drill sergeants jumped on that bus and they started hollering, "Get your sorry behind off of this bus. Your behind belongs to me now." Boy, we scrambled off of that bus. We were already tired. We had to go and get all our supplies. And we were just weren't prepared for it, man. So we got all our supplies. And we got off the bus. By the time we got settled into the barracks, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. And the drill sergeant told us, "Y'all better get y'all behind in that bed because 4 o'clock, your behind belongs to me." And believe it or not, 4 o'clock in the morning, I ain't never got up no 4 o'clock in the morning. But that next morning, man, they come in there, about 4 of them come in there, beating garbage cans. Bam, 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 bam. Get your butts up out of that bed, man. We hit the floor. Put on the fast. We had to put on our clothes in 3 minutes. Go to the bathroom and splash some water on our face. And that was it. They ran us outside. They ran us. First morning was a mile, man. We all, that kid was like, it was dark. It was about 5 o'clock, pushing 6. They ran us, man. A lot of us falling out, man. Wasn't used to that. They ran us into the chow hall, made us swallow our food. We didn't eat it. They made us swallow our food. We got in the chow hall. It was about 6 o'clock. 6:15. We was out of that chow hall in formation. The first 2 days, I was ready to come back home. I was ready to give it up. I was one of those kind of guys that never finished nothing. Never wouldn't even stay on the job for 2 weeks. And I was ready to go back home. But I didn't give in. I wanted to, but I didn't. I didn't give in. So I made it through basic training, which was 8 weeks. Made it through basic training. Came back home for 30 days leave. Went back to Fort Jackson, what we call AIT, our advanced training. That was 4 weeks. Did it. And on graduations, only part that I didn't like about the whole thing, my family didn't back me. My mother was against it. None of my family. I had to do it on my own, and I was going to do it. I wasn't going to let them discourage me. I was going to do it, and I did it. And after I graduated, got our papers. My paper said Victor Charlie, Vietnam. Victor November, Vietnam. That's where I was. All of us was headed. It was the release for them guys that was over there, and that was a shock. I didn't know what to expect. None of us did, but I made it. I made it, and I refused to give up. Now I'm going to end this segment of my story, and I will be coming back to you again to complete the story. This is a lifetime story of the ups and the downs and how society treated us as if we were second-class citizens or no citizens at all. So we're in here, and we will see you on the other side.